Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and in this video I'm going to tell you all about this espresso machine. This is the Casabrews 5700 Pro, and I'm going to show you all the different features and functions that this machine is capable of, all of the accessories that comes with it, and of course I'm gonna make myself a nice, delicious espresso in the end. But before we get into all of that, let me tell you everything that you are going to get with this machine. Now, first off, this machine is capable of grinding whole coffee beans into nicely fine grounds. And that's going to be one of the first things that you get is this coffee bean basket that sits up top here with a lid. And then over on the back of the machine is where the water reservoir is. It has a maximum line and a minimum fill line, so you'll never have to worry about whether or not you don't have enough water inside of it. And then it has this nice little lid feature that lifts up and even away, so you can choose to add water to it in a way that's more comfortable to you. You can either add it straight from the back like this, or if you're in the front of the machine, you'll be able to add the water to the front in that way as well. Now, as for the other accessories that you get, they are all laid out here. And the greatest thing about these accessories are they're not just accessories that will help you create the espresso to begin with, but there's also accessories here to make the entire experience a lot more convenient. So the first thing that you're going to get is going to be the all-important filter holder here. Nice solid metal construction on this filter holder, and you're going to get two different filters. One is going to be one for single shots of espresso, and then there's another filter that's a little bit larger that's convenient for double shots of espresso. And they both have max lines so that you'll know how many grounds that you can put inside of each filter. You're also going to get the tamper, which is also extremely important for getting those grounds nice and flat. And then here is the cleaning brush here. You're also going to get cleaning needles as well as a coffee scoop. And here are some of the things that just make the whole experience a lot more enjoyable and convenient. First, you're going to get this decorating tool here. So if you want to do like some latte art and you know what you're doing with the different foams, you can use this to make little cool patterns and shapes and even spell things out. And it's awesome that this is included inside of the box. You're also going to be getting this metal milk pitcher here for frothing the milk. That is very important when it comes to making espressos. And they also have a maximum capacity of 10 ounces or 300 milliliters. That's on the high end, and on the low end we have 4 ounces or 120 milliliters. So that's there. We also are going to be getting this. It's going to be an extra grinder. There's already one pre-installed on there, but here is another one just in case you need it. And then the tamping mat. Now the tamping mat is pretty cool. The way that this works is you just hang it over your counter just like that, and then that gives you a place to actually put your tamper. And then when you're ready to tamper it down, you can just take the filter holder and you can hold it right in front of it so that you can tamp it down. So it's really great that this is also included. And then you get this heavy piece of gear. This is a distributor. So when you finish grinding the coffee beans, they all pile up like a pyramid. You got to get those flat, and that's what this distributor is for. We're going to use it in a moment, but you can just put this down, give it a little bit of pressure, and give it a twist. And that's going to help smooth out those coffee grounds to make them ready for the actual tampering. And these accessories are just really convenient to have and just makes things a little bit easier for you in the long run. Now let's take a look at some of the core functions of this machine, because the main feature that sets this one apart from some of the other espresso machines in the Casabrews line is the fact that this one has a digital display and allows you to access all those functions, and you can read them clearly. So now you don't have to worry about remembering what various button presses do. Instead, you can read it all on that screen there. So let's take a look at it. So first we have the all-important power button. So let's go ahead and turn that on. And as soon as you do that, the machine is going to automatically start warming itself up. So if you have your favorite coffee cup handy, you can just put it right up here while it gets nice and toasty while the machine prepares. Now, you see that there are 3 buttons and 1 knob right there underneath that display. So the core features are going to be whether you want to make a single shot of espresso or a double shot of espresso. And that's nicely labeled right here. You got 1 cup for a single shot. You got 2 cups for a double shot. So you can just press one of those 2 buttons and you're going to get a single or double shot of espresso. But if you want to go into the menus a little bit more, the first thing that you're going to see up here is where it says grind amount. So by default, the grind time for a single shot of espresso is going to be 14 seconds, but you can alter that if you like I have. I brought it down to 11 seconds. And the only thing that I had to do was simply turn this knob, and you can turn it all the way to 60 seconds. Or on the lower end, you can turn this knob all the way down to a mere 5 seconds. So 5 seconds on the low end, 60 seconds on the high end for your grind time. But for me, 11 seconds works just fine. Now this is for the single shot. If you want to alter the time for the double shot, all you have to do is press this button in, and you see that it's changed to 21 seconds, the default time. So you change this to whatever you want. So let's say if I wanted it to be 23, I can press that in, and now if I want to do a double shot, it's going to be at 23 seconds because it remembers it. But I'm going to set it back at the default. And now let's go into the menu. We can look at these different options here. Now, actually, let me go back for a second. So you see that these 2 buttons are lit up for the single shot and for the double shot. You can do either or, but if you wanted to just specify which one that you wanted, you can go into the menu here, and then you can switch this to single, or you can give it 1 more turn and you can switch it to double. So if I go back to single and press this button in, you see that the double is not lit up. The only thing that's lit up is the single light right there. So now we can go back into the menu and check out some of these other options. So beyond single and double, we also have the option to change the temperature for the steam wand, which is right over here. By default, it's going to be in the middle, but if you want, you can change it so that it can be on the hotter end of things, or it can be on the cooler side. So you get 3 different heat settings for that. I'm going to keep it right there in the middle and bring that in. And then the next options we have here is for flush. And flush is recommended if you use this machine regularly for, a whole week. You can flush it once a week to make sure that it's nice and clean. And then the other option is for descaling, which can also come in handy if your water tends to be a little bit harder. And then you can use this about once a month in order to descale it. And if you just mess with a whole bunch of different features and you want to set everything back to the way it was when you got it, then there's the Reset Defaults button right there. You can put everything back to the factory settings. And that's all that the menu does. And once we start grinding, you're going to see that in order to know what the pressure is going to be for your particular coffee beans, there's going to be a little meter right here and it's going to go up. So here's something to remember. Anything that's between 6 and 12 is the good zone for brewing espresso. Anything under that is going to be considered under extracted. Anything over 12 is going to be over extracted. All right, so let's get started. I got my beans already inside. I'm going to put the filter holder in there and I'm just going to give this a little press. Notice the countdown timer. All right, so we can take our coffee out and it is all bunched up right here. And it's okay if it looks like it's going to, spill out the top. It's supposed to be like that. But now I'm going to use this tamping mat right here. Remember the distributor. I'm just going to put this down here. I'm going to put this on, give it a tiny little bit of pressure, and I'm just going to turn this. And then once I turn it, check that out. You see how smooth that is just with that one little turn? And now I can take the tamper here and just tamp this down. Little bit of pressure, not a lot of pressure, just a little bit of pressure. And then also keep in mind that max fill line. Try not to go over that max fill line. That would be a bad thing. So now I'm going to take the filter holder and insert it from the left, let it go all the way up, and then give it a twist, and it will firmly lock into place. Now I'm going to take the trusty coffee cup and put it under here. And I'm going to hit the single button. And remember, once we see those bars coming up, we are aiming between 6 and 12 bars. Anything under 6 is under extracted, and anything above 12 is over extracted. So let's give it a shot. All right, you see that we are at 6 right there. Now we were at 9, and you can see they are black bars. And we topped out at 9. So that is considered to be a successful extraction. Now remember, if it is under extracted, then you need to make the grounds a little bit more fine, which means that you can move this dial closer to 1. That will make it more fine. If you need it to be more coarse, move it so that these numbers are higher, and that's going to make it more coarse. So you just have to kind of experiment with it. It's going to be your coffee beans that decide how that's going to work out. Okay, so now we are not quite done. We need to froth the milk, and I've got some milk inside of this little pitcher here, and we can come over to this side of the machine. Over on this side of the machine, you see that we have this dial here, and it's currently set to off. There's a hot water function at the very bottom, and there's a steam ready function right here, and then there's a steam function right here. So in order to get this to work, we first need to move this down to the steam ready function. Let's move this cup out of the way and move this over to the reservoir, because the first thing that is going to do once we are ready to steam is going to expel any water that might be inside of there. So we just wait for this light right here to stop blinking. Doing this all in real time for you. Now it is done. I'm going to move it over to steam. We're going to let it expel that water for about 8 seconds. And now we're going to move it back into the steam ready position. And that's really more of a safety thing so that you don't scald yourself. All right, but we are still ready to steam. So now we're going to take our little milk pitcher here, move the wand and put it just under the surface of the milk. And then we're going to move to steam. And now I'm going to pour this frothed milk into the coffee. Now we get to taste all of our hard work. And it certainly was worth it. This is good. Very, very good. So I hope that gave you a good idea of what the Casabrews 5700 Pro is capable of. This is the type of machine that will save you some money in the long term, especially if you find yourself going out and paying for coffee every day of the week, sometimes multiple cups in the same day. A machine like this will allow you to do that at home with freshly ground coffee beans of your choice, and then you can make your drinks the way that you want them. And remember, you don't have to always drink them hot. You can add milk to it, make yourself a cappuccino, make yourself a latte, ice lattes, add whatever type of flavoring that you want. The choice is yours, and you have the freedom to do that with this machine. But for now, I am going to enjoy the rest of this coffee, and I hope that you will be able to make yourself a really good cup as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.